All right, guys, welcome back. We're reacting to some more true crime TikToks. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. All right, let's jump in. This one is about JonBenet Ramsey and a bowl of pineapple. Let's watch.
Let's look at the bowl of pineapple and what many believe is milk in the JonBenet Ramsey case. This is a crime scene photo of the breakfast table at the Ramsey home on the day that police were called. Apparently, it was placed at where Burke, JonBenet's brother, normally sat at that table. The parents maintain that they did not put this there because they maintain that JonBenet was asleep when they got home on the 25th, and Burke went to sleep as well. Patsy and Burke's fingerprints are the only fingerprints on this bowl and this glass. In the autopsy of JonBenet, it was found that she had pineapple in her stomach, which means she ate it not long before her death. Estimated that she ate it about 30 minutes to 2 hours before she was killed. This was pineapple and a milk-like substance in a large bowl with a serving spoon and a glass with a tea bag, which many people would attribute to a child making this because the large portion using a serving spoon and putting a tea bag in a glass does not make sense for an adult who knows how to prepare food. As you can see, the bowl was still pretty full, which points to someone making this and then being distracted from eating it. Somehow they found out it was fresh pineapple, not canned pineapple, which I'm not sure how you do that, but this would point towards someone probably cutting it, which doesn't point towards a child, so that kind of negates the piece before. Some people have stated that the acid of the pineapple can break down the milk and cause bad stomach pain, so I'm not really sure why this was a snack in the first place. Patsy later says it was a snack that both Burke and JonBenet loved, but it seems like kind of an odd snack.
Kaylee's parents were just on Fox News and spoke about her relationship with Jack. And this is the Jack that supposedly was called several times the night of the incident. Here are some clips from the Facebook page, so I'm sorry if they're not very clear, but I'll put the captions on.
Jack was Kaylee's boyfriend for many years. They just recently broke up. There was no animosity at all. It was a breakup on Kaylee's point. It was not, they still talked every single day. Kaylee just thought that she needed a little break. They were on the mend of getting back together. Kaylee talked to Jack the whole time. She was here for that week and a half time with Jack. And Jack is just as distraught as we are. Jack is our family. Jack is 100%, 2,000% our family. And Jack is with us, and we stand behind him 100%. We're supporting him, and we know in our hearts, and our minds, and our soul, in the depths of our soul, Jack is hurting, and Kaylee and Jack would have eventually been married. They would have eventually been married, and they would have eventually had children together. So to say ex-boyfriend, it was Kaylee just being a brat, being like, I need a break. But Jack was in her heart, and they were close to getting back together. And that was just Kaylee being Kaylee. So absolutely, Jack is not.
The body of a homeless man would be found scattered in several different locations in Minneapolis. Hello, true crimers. This is the case of Adam Richard Johnson. Viewer discretion is advised. From the various articles I've read, Adam Johnson is consistently described almost as if he's two different people. There's clean and sober Adam, and then there's not clean and sober Adam. When he was sober, he was considered a loving, caring, doting father. But when he wasn't, he was belligerent and, a bit of an issue with the law. Nothing serious. One time he was arrested for throwing feces at people. And this was during a time when he was both high and also drunk. He had an on-again, off-again relationship with a woman that has asked to be named JoJo. She was the mother of his child, and she cared for Adam very much, and she is just wanting answers to what happened to him. On June 17th, 2021, a man would walk out of his home and see a clear bag, and when he looked in the bag, he made a horrific discovery. There were several body parts inside of it. Police were called immediately. And then a little bit down the street from there, a woman discovered a human leg that had been chopped up into pieces and displayed for people to see. 5 days later, it got worse. At about 6:15 in the morning, a person walking through a park discovered a partially thawed human head, and carved into the head was the word perv. The body parts would be confirmed to belong to 36-year-old man Adam Johnson. He had recently been homeless, and clearly someone had a grudge against him. The people in his life do not believe that this was some sort of like drug-related thing. They believe that this was a personal attack on him because they wanted to do this to him. Who that person is, it's not known. Police consider this to be a premeditated attack because they had the thought of freezing the head first. No one really knows why the word perv was cut into his forehead, or no one's released that information. There was DNA left under his fingernails that police have still tried to match to someone, but they have not been lucky on that yet. Adam's cause of death is not known because he was dismembered. His body would be found in at least 4 different locations. Jojo said he was a human being, and he did not deserve this. But sadly, this is still unsolved.
Wow. How can people do stuff like that? That's terrible. Oh my goodness. Nope. Gruesome. Absolutely gruesome.
This woman came back from the grave to solve her own murder, and I'm obsessed with her. On February 21st, 1977, Teresita Bassa finished up her shift as a respiratory specialist at Edgewater Hospital in Chicago and returned home. Around 7:30 p.m., her friend Ruth Loeb called. They talked for about 20 minutes until Teresita said she had to go because she was expecting a male visitor. Apparently, Ruth had no follow-up questions about this. At 8:40 p.m., Teresita's neighbors smelled smoke, so they called the building's janitor, who called the fire department. Inside Teresita's apartment, firefighters found a mattress in the middle of the living room floor engulfed in flames. Under the mattress was the body of Teresita Bassa. She was undressed and she had been stabbed in the chest. Smoke and fire damage had eliminated all physical evidence and fingerprints, but it was clear that there had been a struggle and the apartment had been totally ransacked. The only solid piece of evidence was a note in the apartment that read, "Get theater tickets for AS." The case went cold after only a couple months. But then, in July of that same year, lead investigator Joe Stachula got a call from police in Evanston. They had spoken to a man named Dr. Jose Chua, who had information about the murder of Teresita Bassa. And that information had come from Teresita herself. Part 2 is up, and it is linked in the comments.
Well, let's go find it.
This is part 2 of the murder of Teresita Bassa. So Detective Joe Stachula got a call from a doctor in Evanston. Dr. Jose Chua said that his wife, Remy, had worked with Teresita Bassa at the hospital, and that one night, Remy had spoken in her sleep in a voice that Jose didn't recognize. The voice said that she was Teresita Bassa and that she knew who her murderer was. She had been killed by a man named Alan Showery, an orderly at the hospital, and she asked Jose to go to the police. Remy woke up and had no memory of what had happened, so Jose didn't go to the police. But Teresita came back a week later, and she was pissed. Jose told her he couldn't go to the police without any evidence, and Teresita told Jose that Alan had stolen some of her jewelry and given it to his girlfriend. And she provided the names and phone numbers of 4 people who could identify the jewelry. So Jose went to the police.
Oh, wow.
And the police found that Alan Showery was indeed an orderly at Edgewater Hospital. And their coworkers said that Alan was supposed to go to Teresita's apartment the night she was murdered to fix her TV. They called Alan in for questioning. And he said, yes, he went over to fix the TV, but he didn't have the right tools, so he went home to fix an electrical problem that he and his girlfriend had been having. And Alan's girlfriend said they weren't having any electrical problems, and even if they were, Alan would not know how to fix them. She also told them that Alan had given her some jewelry in late February. So detectives brought in the people that Teresita had told Jose about, and they positively identified Teresita's jewelry. In the face of this evidence, Alan told police everything. He went over to fix Teresita's TV, but he was actually planning on robbing her for rent money. She let him in, and as soon as she turned her back to lock the door, he strangled her from behind. He removed her clothing to make it look like an assault and then set the fire to get rid of any evidence. And he only found $30 in cash, so he took some jewelry. Allen pled not guilty, but his case ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. Then he suddenly changed his plea to guilty, and he was sentenced to 14 years in prison. And some say that he changed his plea after he was visited by Teresita's ghost in prison.
Wow. Can you imagine? Wow. Yep. That's crazy. Glad they caught him though. Glad he finally confessed. But that is bizarre. That is very bizarre. All right, guys. Well, if you like this video, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And plenty more videos to come. We'll see you guys soon.